Hey guys, this is my Millionaire Entrepreneur Daily Routine described. I wake up in the morning. Whenever I wake up, I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I think that's one thing that I hated about working jobs was I hated the whole alarm clock thing. I couldn't do it. Couldn't deal with that. Had to, basically had to get away from that, and that was one of the reasons. Was I'm not a morning person. Some people, when that alarm clock goes off in the morning, hits in the morning, some people, when that alarm clock hits in the morning, they like frog leap out of bed with a giant smile on their face. They just, and they attack the day. Well, that's definitely not me. I think that's most of us. Most of us are not exactly early birds and morning people. I am not an early bird. Thank God I found myself in a career where I don't have to wake up early. I am explicitly not an early bird. Like, if my life depended on it, I would, wake up in the morning. But some people are just fucking early birds, which I am not. So, anyways, my daily routine, I hop out of bed, no alarm clock. First thing I do is if I'm thirsty, which sometimes I'm thirsty, straight out of bed in the morning, I'll grab like a glass of water. But other than that, I just hop straight onto the computer. I don't get hungry real early in the morning. So, I don't, usually don't eat for like a couple hours out of bed in the morning, hop on the computer and just carry on with whatever I was doing the previous day. Right now I'm studying the Odin Project. The Odin Project is a coding boot camp. I'm learning how to code. The actual work portion of the actual making money portion of my business is not so much like I guess you could say I'm not much of like a businessman. I'm more like an entrepreneur, where I invest into things and more or less I trade assets. So I'm like not like a trader like on the stock market, but basically I trade assets. It's kind of hard to explain, but hold on. So yeah, and then throughout the day I just work, study. Most of my day is studying, work, study, I eat when I'm hungry, and yeah, but my whole life is work. My whole day is work. Even I'm looking into selling a percentage of my assets, of my business, basically. Looking into selling 66% of my business. I think I'll score probably about 50 to 70 million for 60. The minimum I'll accept is like 12 million. It just depends. It really does just depend. you know uh, so it just depends. Um, but yeah, pretty much work all day, eat when I'm hungry, uh, and drink coffee, drink water. Uh, About to take a shower. I don't shower every day. You know, I might shower like every like week, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe even like once a month. You know, Probably more or less like try to drink like a gallon of water every day. I take like my vitamins every day. You know, and I do. It's like the vitamins I take is just like a multivitamin, and like if I'm sick, I'll take like a vitamin C. I take like 400 milligrams of vitamin C for like 2 or 3 days, and then poof, I'm not sick anymore. So I take like a multivitamin with extra vitamin D because I don't get a whole lot of sun right now, so I have to take a vitamin D supplement every day. Uh, Vitamin C, multivitamin, vitamin D. Every now and then, if I'm feeling frisky, I'll take some Neuro Peak. Neuro Peak is like a nootropic, one of those herbal like supplements. Is like they're kind of a little bit like expensive though. The way I take them, I might take like 4 in a day. If I have like some very important shit to do, I'll take like 4 in a day. Take like 4 throughout the day. You know, Maybe even up to like 6 in a day. You know, you don't want to overdo it because then you build a tolerance. And you'll need more and more to get the same effect. I try to stay like up to date with like my NeuroPeak. NeuroPeak as a nootropic is the only one I've tried. I'm not always experimenting and adding new shit into my body. Pretty much, NeuroPeak is like for peak mental performance. I'll take some like NeuroPeak. And take like 4 throughout the day on normal days. If I need it, if I got some like very 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 important shit to do, I might take like 6 throughout the day, but usually not much more than that. And then even with that, you gotta like detox off that like every now and then. If I have to, if I have a scenario where if I have like to stay up super late, I'll take like like a bunch of caffeine, like Jet Alert. But that's not like an everyday thing, but I'll take like Jet Alert, which is a caffeine supplement. It's like I take the extra strength, so when I get tired, I take like 400 milligrams of caffeine. Every time, whenever I get tired, I take another 400 milligrams and stay up for like 36 hours, But I don't take caffeine every fucking day. I just drink coffee, which there's caffeine in coffee, but it's not like chemical synthetic caffeine. It's like vaping is different than smoking. Coffee caffeine is different than chemical lab made caffeine. As you can imagine, they're two very different things. And right now I'm not doing this because I live in a house where they don't let me drink here. And I live in a house where they don't let me drink here, but usually if I'm living on my own, you know, and it's just me here, you know, I live with like other people, and it's like government funded like housing, like for medical purposes. Like I live here right now, you know, that they like. Now, see, these are all like college educated people over here, like watching my video, and someone comes and knocks at my door. Rude. But what was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, every now and then something like that happens where I am called upon to like do something, you know. But for the most part, you know, I pretty much just you know, work on the computer from home, wake up, work on the computer from home, you know, wake up, you know, whenever I wake up, because I'm not much of a morning person. I take my vitamins, you know, probably sometimes I skip a day if I feel like I don't need it, you know. Try to drink like plenty of water, as gallon of water a day thing is getting a little bit out of hand. I drink like, you know, water when I'm thirsty, you know. If I'm thirsty, I try to drink mostly like water or green tea or like coffee. I learned that you can't live off of coffee for your beverage. You know, you have to have like a glass of water every day. At least like a glass of water every day. I drink like green tea every now and then to try to like lose weight and try to, you know, just something good to drink, you know, it has a little bit of caffeine in there, you know. And then work all day. Other than that, I eat when I'm hungry and I go to bed when I'm tired, and just living the dream over here, you know. It's like I still have goals for like the future and stuff, you know. I still have like goals for like the future and stuff, you know. So, yeah, I mean, maybe when I'm like 45, I'll like hunker down and only work like 8 hours a day. But I think like most of my life, I'll be working like all day, every day, and do something similar to what I do now. Only difference will be like, instead of probably like maybe add in like 2 bottles of champagne every day. Like when I get some more money, is like champagne is really the tastiest, the most delicious way to get shit faced. And like smoke weed when I'm studying, smoke like some very like not much of like very like potent weed. I don't like to get super stoned to the point where I can't think straight. I smoke like two puffs and I'm just good for like the whole day, you know. So maybe like incorporate something like that for studying, like, or like some CBD to like relax my body and mind for when I'm studying, you know. Um, and then other than that, you know, um, other than that, you know, just that's pretty much it, you know. So I wake up in the morning. Whenever I wake up, I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I go to bed whenever I'm really tired. I try not to leave any gas left in the tank, like at night, you know. I go to bed only when I crash. So a lot of people like leave like gas left in the tank at night. I crash out every single night and I wake up, but I wake up whenever I wake up. So really everything sort of like balances out. My whole day, my whole life really is at like a very like moderate, maybe like a little bit above moderate, like jogging pace, like throughout my life. It's just like people tend to think like that they're gonna do like some crazy sprint through like the world of business, and like burnout is real. You know, some people burn out faster than others. Very few people can be in like a constant like workflow of like pure like, and then the people that work really hard don't ever take a second to step back and think, you know. So the people that work really hard, you know, don't ever take like a second to step back and think about what they're doing for a second, so they could optimize like their business by optimizing their thinking. You know, you got to have a second to sit back and think for a second, you know. Is actually a major part of my life is meditation and thinking, you know. You know, yeah, like, but that's how it all started for me, was like a dead sprint, and then I burnt out for like, you know, it was just like a very aggressive like amount of work that I was putting in for like 10 years, and then just to realize like, holy shit, I'm like burning out here, you know. I had to take like a 2 year break. 5 years of like a dead sprint is like, actually, you get more done by being at like an 80% pace and like taking a second to fucking breathe, right? You know, you get more done by taking this whole thing at like a 80% pace and taking a second to fucking breathe, you know. rather than trying to go into a dead sprint. You just gotta hope with all your fucking hopes and dreams that you don't burn out after like, like mid-career. You just hit like burnout, and you're gonna spend the rest of your life as like lazing in bed as like a fucking tomato or like a vegetable, just like, if you are one of those select few people where you can go into a dead sprint for like 15 years. For me, I was going at like 90, 100% for like as long as possible, and then it took me like 6 years to recover from that. And then now I just kind of coast at like 80 to 82% of like everything I've got, without like reaching the point where I'm like taxing my mind like entirely too much, because burnout is real, and I found my pace where I could work my hardest without burning out ever. So, it's basically like but yeah, I mean, that's my routine, is put a lot of like careful like time in consideration into making this video. I'm 30. That's how I live my life. I drink my black coffee. I can afford cream and sugar just fine. But I drink black coffee to keep me awake, like mentally as well as, or like emotionally. Like every time I take a nasty viscous swig of black Maxwell House instant coffee, it reminds me of my mission, and it reminds me of my journey. And the further along I get along this journey, the harder it becomes to give up, knowing that I've given so much to this path, makes it really hard to just go and like give up, So that's my routine. Gonna go chuff a ciggy real quick, and I just want to be like a fucking like a demon with the shit, and move at like my best pace for like working my hardest but not burning out, and just do that, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's probably like 82% efficiency in my work, about 82%, 81 to 82% efficiency, So I gotta get back to work, gotta get back to it, and I'll talk to you guys later.